can you talk about like domain and email and web, and what does it mean for like that small to medium business, that company that's like either just starting all the way up to maybe even $10 million? We're not talking about $1 billion companies here. We're talking about the guys that are small to medium. Like
Right.
what are their risks, and then what can they do to help reduce and mitigate those risks without spending the hundreds of thousands of dollars it costs to have like a freaking ethical hacker team come on board?
Right. Okay. Well, I kind of want to I kind of want to talk a little bit about misconceptions first. Misconceptions
Sure. Fire away.
from small medium sized businesses about security risks. Um, the number one misconception I see, and I work with a fairly wide range of companies, and I'm not a sales guy, but I do a lot of pre-sales calls, and this is where our salespeople go in, and I, from the technical perspective, kind of explain certain things, kind of help them guide the client through that. One of the first one I see is we're not big enough of a target. So a company that might have anywhere from 3 to 10 to 15 people, right? They're like, listen, we don't have a lot of money. We're not a big target. Truth is, cyber criminals don't care. Number one. Number two, they understand the small, medium-sized businesses do not have the budgets. They do not have the proper security in place. They're most likely just some people working from home. They started their business. They might use some cloud-based services. They might have an office, but they're not big enough to have adequate security. So that's probably the biggest one I hear. Another one I hear often is, "Hey, we have antivirus. we're in the cloud. We have antivirus on our laptops. That's all we need, right?" Yes and no. Your threat surface is reduced, right? You have a few laptops. You have some people work from home. You're kind of an Amazon-based WordPress WP engine on your in your example, for instance. But you are still a target. The biggest target is that 90% of the time I see hackers get in from the outside is phishing. Most companies.
What's phishing? So everyone knows what that is.
Okay, so phishing is where me as a hacker, I'll send an email. I target specific. I will try to back up a little bit. I'm going to briefly explain the entire process that I typically go through, that a hacker would go to.
Okay.
If I have a target, let's say search, click, grow. My first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to do a complete search of the company on the internet. Everything I can find in what's called open source intelligence. I'm going to figure out who you are, what you do you have Facebook pages, what your interests are, what are your phone numbers, what is the email provider you use, what is the email format you use, who are your employees, right? I'm going to gather all the information. Number one. Number two, I'm going to start sending out emails. And most of the emails that people see in the just basic spam and phishing email they see in their Gmail box that goes straight to trash is stuff like, "Hey, you have an Amazon gift card, click here." That's not what we do. We will target you specifically.
That's probably like some really low quality. I wouldn't even call that hackers. Those are probably just spammers.
Exactly. Yep.
Yeah.
The high quality hackers, what they're going to do is, based on research that I've done about you and about the company, I might send an employee an email that would look like it came from their boss and says, "Hey, I need you to work on this report. I need it to get done immediately. I will try to I use high pressure situation that people need to do something right now." I might even not tell them to click on stuff, right? I might tell them, "Hey, again, I'm your boss. I will include a link, but I'm going to say something like, I saw this news article. I think it's very important for us to react. Let me know what you think." I don't tell them to click on stuff. People are more likely to click on things. There's a lot of psychological kind of behavioral tricks that go into phishing. And we get about 30% click rate, right? It doesn't sound like a lot, but remember, I just need one person. So in 10 people company, that's 3 people. I just need one. Once that person clicks on the email, malware installs. It either installs malware. It will also, along with it, will probably prompt you for a password for something. It might look like a company portal. I might make it look exactly like Facebook page or exactly like Office.com login. Whatever service you use, I will make it look exactly like that portal. I'm going to use cloning software, and I will probably buy a domain that sounds similar to yours. So, for instance, click search grow. I might buy click search -grow or something, something
Yeah,
simple,
yeah, yeah.
but something
Something,
looks exactly like what you want.
something where no one would realize that it's different.
Exactly.
Yeah.
I'm going to make it look exactly like what you think it is. Um, Office Office.com domains. I might buy something that looks like Microsoft domain or Gmail domain. They're highly monitored by I don't need them for long. They will probably get disabled. Microsoft, Google, Apple, they monitor the World Wide Web for those sites. I don't need it on long. I just need it for a couple of days. Once I have your credentials, because I prompted you for them and it looks legit and you typed it in, and the malware is installed, I have full control over your computer.
So you basically, to repeat that another way, you would create a fake email that looks real, using some psychological tricks, make someone click something. And again, these aren't the crappy ones that are like, click this button to get this $1 million from this Nigerian prince. This is
Mhm.
like really, really, really looks real. And they would click a link. It would look like maybe their company portal or a Facebook page or whatever. They would put their username and password in, but of course now that just gives you their username and password because it's not actually Facebook or actually the company portal. Then you take that information, then you actually log into their Facebook page or their portal, and now you can take control of all their shit.
Pretty much, yep. And not only do I have access to your computer, and now because I have access to your computer, I'm inside your network. If you're in the office, I
So
all of a sudden have full access to your network, even though I am in South Korea,
mhm.
or Florida, and you work in California. And I have your credentials. And one of the things that people do often is reuse password. If you use password password 123 in Facebook, there's
Yeah.
a very good chance you use the same thing to log into your domain name
So
service,
and
which is
well, most people use the same username too. So that
yeah.
username and or password, and I'm guilty of reusing username. I'm guilty of that. I have a username I came up with in the 90s back in AOL days. I'm that old. I know you remember AOL.
Oh,
And then normally it's my email, but occasionally it might be that username. But I do not reuse passwords. I do not. I'm not guilty of that cardinal sin.
you're ahead of a curve then, because people often do.
Yep.
There's a technique called credential stuffing,
Yeah.
and which means that if I have micah@gmail.com with password 123, I'm going to try that. I have a list of thousands of websites that require login. I'm going to try those credentials on all of them.
Mm-hmm.
It is very quick, it's automated, and I'm going to use some service based in Romania.
Mm-hmm.
And chances are, if you reuse your password, I'm going to get somewhere. And that you mentioned stolen domains. That's typically how domains get stolen.
It's
This is
because
one
of
of the
the
ways.
phishing, and then they get the logins, and then they just assume it, and they go to GoDaddy and Domains 101, whatever, and then they find it.
Yep. So let's talk about mitigation, right? It is. I think it's important to mention that at this point. What can you do to protect yourself from that? Number one, use two-factor authentication. Most services today offer that. Most. Facebook, Google, really any
And two
service.
factor is just where you log in and it sends you a code, and then you have to like put the
Yep.
code in to log in, and they'll send it to you like your cell phone or your email or something.
Right. There are ones that will send you a text message. You can also use a password. You can use authenticators. Google has one. They're free. Google has one. Microsoft has one. There's one with Duo. They're all free. I highly recommend Google because you can keep all your authentication tokens in one place. What typically happens is you type in username and password, and it's going to say, "Hey, I need you to give me this 6-digit code." You look on your phone, find the service, type in the 6-digit code. That code rotates every 30
Dude,
seconds.
I even have that. So I do Google Ads, right?
Mhm.
Every day, literally every day, when I log into Google Ads for my clients, and if you're one of my clients, you should appreciate this. When I log into my Google account to manage my clients, it two factors me every single day. And this is the only two-factor authentication I've ever seen, because normally it's like a text code or an email code. This one makes me open my YouTube app but on my phone. So I'm on my computer with Google Ads. It makes me open up YouTube on my phone, but it's the same Gmail, it's the same Google account. And then YouTube pops open a code inside of YouTube. So it's not only a two-factor code, but it's a two-factor code in another app, like Google Ads and then YouTube, like completely different apps, which is strange but cool. And I have to two-factor in like every single day.
And I think Facebook actually went to that model as well. And also, I mean, I guess to answer the argument that might come up, or the question, like, what if I don't have my phone? it usually provides multiple methods of the authentication. This is number one. If you don't have your phone, there's usually other things that it offers, right? Including backup
Gotcha.
codes. If you lost your phone, you have no access to your phone, you have no access to anything. When you sign up for the service, it usually gives you 10 backup codes. You can just print them out, keep in your drawer at your house, right? Do not keep it at work in your drawer. So that's number one. Multi-factor authentication. As a hacker, when I see that, I usually go, let me learn something else because I can't get it. There are ways around it, but they're not technical ways. There are still more psychological ways, right? And this is where what you're saying, clicking a button on your phone, is better than a text message, right? Because I might still be able, I might text you first, say, hey, I'm Bob with so and so. Whenever you receive some code, text it back to me. There are ways around it. Having a phone, having an actual app you have to click on, or having a code that you have to type in from the Authenticator app is more secure. But if you don't have that available, SMS is better than nothing. Number one. Number two, if you don't reuse passwords, right? Make passwords more complex. Passwords really need to be 14 plus digits and completely random, and use upper, lower digits.
I use LastPass. What are your thoughts on that?
Yes, and that's actually what I was going with that. So there are two prominent ones. I use LastPass personally. There's also 1Password. That's also a really good solution. They're pretty much equal. They're free. There's a little bit of you can add a paid service to those that just adds the ability to like share it with. Don't share your passwords, but you can share that account, like for example, with your family, right? So they can both use the same account.
Yep.
And you can set up a separation to where the passwords are completely separate, where you have yours, your spouse has another one, your employees have another one. So definitely, password managers are highly, highly recommended in addition to 2FA.
Hey, if you found this video helpful, please like and subscribe. If you're looking for help growing your contracting business, I invite you to join my free community. In there, we go live with amazing trainings, share resources and downloads, plus you get free help from me and from peers. That link is down below to join, and we'll see you in the next video.